Ripping up the speech or ripping up the Constitution. I mean, it's clear the contrast here was a president who spent an hour and a half making the speech about America.
Right.
And Nancy Pelosi in the final moments tried to make it about her. And I think the American people see through it. I think they see through the pettiness. They see through the politics of all of it. And I think what they got last night was a speech that lifted up the country, that celebrated the incredible progress that we've made in our economy, rebuilding our military, strengthening our courts. But the stories that the president told were American stories. Right. And I just know it was a great blessing to people all across America, and it's one of the reasons why you see the momentum growing behind this president. And I just have a strong feeling that she's going to be the last Speaker of the House to sit in that chair for a long time.
You know, when you look at it, given the fact that we've never seen anything like that before, I think some people thought, well, that's kind of a sore loser move. That's like if at the end of the Super Bowl, the 49ers took the Lombardi trophy away from the Chiefs and spiked it or something like that. You think that she planned to do that all along?
It felt like it. It was such an immediate moment. And I just don't, you know, I've been to a lot of State of the Union addresses as a member of Congress, and now this was my fourth as a Vice President of the United States. And there's always a basic decorum and a basic respect. But to have her stand up and tear up that speech really dishonored the moment, and I really thought it was beneath the dignity of a joint session of Congress, and I think it'll be remembered as such.
So a lot of people said, and in fact, the White House tweeted out, when she ripped up that speech, she ripped up the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, the survival of a child born at 21 weeks, the mourning of the family of Rocky Jones, Kayla Mueller, and the service members' reunion with his family. That's what that speech represented. Jody Jones joined us in studio. His brother was a victim of an illegal immigrant, killed him. Listen to what his take was.
It felt like she ripped our hearts out. Everybody there, all the guests, we couldn't believe it. Look, I don't care how you feel about somebody. That was probably the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in my life. Because when she did that, it just tore us up. We couldn't believe it.
Well, I met Jody and the rest of Rocky's family before. Karen and I had a few moments with them. The president had time with them. This is a grieving family who lost a loved one at the hands of an illegal immigrant in California. And she ripped up Rocky's story. She ripped up Janae's story. She ripped up the story about the Williams family and about General McGee. And I have to tell you, I really don't. I don't actually get her take on this. She's saying that it was filled with lies. What lies were there? I mean, I watched the president build this speech. Everything about the economy, everything about the military, everything about President Trump's decisive action, taking about al-Baghdadi and Qasem Soleimani, every story about Americans, the hopeful, aspirational tone at the end. I expect when the dust settles on this speech, it's going to be remembered as one of the best State of the Union addresses in history.
You've been to a lot. Have you ever seen, I don't ever remember watching this and seeing people get rewards. You had the Williams family. He comes out of the audience and he surprises his family.
What a moment.
He's been gone for 7 months. It was so sweet. The little girl, Janaea, you mentioned her. She lives in a neighborhood where the schools are not good. Her mom is a single mom and wants to give her daughter a better life. And the president looks at her and says, I'm going to give you a scholarship, school choice. You can choose what school you want to go to. And the mom, their reaction to the daughter, so excited because she's going to have a better life now, a better education.
Let's take a look at that soundbite.
Janae's mom, Stephanie, is a single parent. She would do anything to give her daughter a better future. But last year, that future was put further out of reach when Pennsylvania's governor vetoed legislation to expand school choice to 50,000 children. But Janae, I have some good news for you, because I am pleased to inform you that your long wait is over. I can proudly announce tonight that an Opportunity Scholarship has become available. It's going to you, and you will soon be heading to the school of your choice.
Look at that.
It was so cool because, you know, presidents always talk about what they've done in the past year and what they hope to do the next year. But these were TV moments that we actually saw. They weren't like, this person did that. We saw the Tuskegee Airmen. We saw her story. We saw Juan Guaido. And we saw your longtime friend, Rush Limbaugh, who earlier this week it was revealed he's got stage 4 cancer. He's in the fight of his life. The president did this last night with Rush, and Rush did not see this coming.
Rush, in recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I will now ask the First Lady of the United States to present you with the honor, please.
Because, Mr. Vice President, that always happens at the White House. It never happens in Congress. Rush did not see that happening. You've known Rush for a very long time. You were on the radio together when you were back in Indiana.
I was back in the 1990s when he became a national phenomenon. 30 years ago, I was in the radio business, and I mean, it's what Sean Hannity said the other night. I mean, Rush Limbaugh really. He plowed the way for conservative men and women on the airwaves of America, not just radio, but I think television. And his contributions to this country, his contributions to the conservative movement are innumerable. And I know for a fact he didn't expect the medal last night. I reached him shortly after he and Catherine left the Capitol, and he was very moved and told me that he was going to spend the rest of his life trying to earn it. And I said, Rush, you've already earned it.
Right.
You've already earned it. Everything you've done to uphold values and ideals that have made this country great.
What did your wife say that they were saying after it happened? Because I saw that she was sitting next to Rush's wife.
It was. You have to remember, this is a challenging moment for them with his diagnosis. He's a strong guy. I know that millions of Americans, including our families, are going to be praying for him and a swift recovery, but Karen said they were very moved, and she just assured them of our prayers. And Rush told me last night that his wife said that God is working in all of this. And I believe that moment, which the president, we all found out about Rush, and then the president just had this thought to say, I want to have you come to the State of the Union
He's
address.
always a TV producer.
But then he didn't. But then he said, he told him, he said, I know you've got some medical procedures this week, but I'd like to have you there. But he didn't tell him he was going to give him the highest civilian honor.
Now, you notice that the Speaker of the House didn't even look up. I mean, if you see the video, she wouldn't even look up.
Here's someone with stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
It strikes me as one of those moments that was very revealing, whether it was the ripping up of the pages or her talking throughout the speech or looking down. I think there was an attitude of disrespect that I don't think really reflected how the American people were responding to this speech.
Was she speaking to you throughout the speech?
She was. Talking
about what?
So occasionally, well, I was listening to the president, so I can't tell you exactly what she was saying, but she seemed to be muttering along about things that they had been doing that I don't know if she thought they weren't getting sufficient credit for. But you know, you mentioned Janaea. She and her mom are going to fly with me to Pennsylvania today. We're going to do another school choice event. I was in Wisconsin, where school choice began 30 years ago. And you know, Steve, I'll tell you, these were powerful moments on television, to be sure, but it's because they were real.
Absolutely.
It's because in Pennsylvania, we have a governor who just vetoed a bill that would have expanded educational choice opportunities to let families just like Janaea's be able to choose the best public, private homeschool for their family.